Hello and welcome back to the Weirdly Obsessed podcast with Mandy, Martino, and Lisa Wallen. Today, our uncommon interest is fetishes.
Yes, from birds to turds. We get into the weird shit that we find online. We talk about the difference between sexual obsessions and fetishes and kinks. We even talk about my own personal experiences dealing with some of these things. It's a very interesting episode. It does get a little dark, so trigger warning for some of that stuff. But if you guys like it, please
like and subscribe, share with a friend, check out our Patreon, and enjoy the episode.
Like. Let me just train my voice for this whole episode. Like. Sorry, everyone. I'm not changing how I'm fucking talking, okay? Everyone being like, you say like so much. Well, you know what, bitch? I've been saying like since I was 3 years old, and I ain't stopping at 34.
I told you my one that I noticed when I first started podcasting was after each guest would say something, I would go, yeah.
I mean, I think once, because I had my show on my, we should.
Ooh, yeah.
I cut my nails too short this time, but oh well.
They'll grow
fine.
back.
Cheers. Yay. Look at us going old school.
I know. Classic LaCroix.
Classic LaCroix.
Pamplemousse was my favorite until I had limoncello.
That's not a real thing.
Pamplemousse?
What's a pamplemousse?
Pamplemousse is the most popular LaCroix flavor.
Yeah, but what is it?
Grapefruit.
Then call it fucking grapefruit, you pretentious asshole. Pamplemousse. It's a fucking grapefruit, okay?
But pamplemousse is so much more fun to say.
I know, but I don't like the limoncello that much.
I know. I couldn't believe when you told me that.
Yeah, that and the cherry blossom are like...
When I put them in the fridge, because I have all the different flavors, I was like, I can't just put limoncello in the fridge because Lisa doesn't like the limoncello.
Wow, I have become a burden to this podcast. No, what I was going to say is I had a show on my old job. Some of you who watch this probably remember it was called Lisa's Leia.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Lisa's Leia. I don't know why I was British, but I was. And that was a 2-hour talk show.
Holy shit.
I know, because Twitch is punishing. It's like if you don't stream for more than 2 hours, and it's like you don't matter, basically. Mm-hmm. So I do an hour of talking, then we do an hour of gameplay, but then we lost a producer. So it turned into a 2-hour interview, which is fine if I love you and I know you and we're friends, but not okay if you're like a professional poker player that doesn't want to reveal anything about your life, or a gamer who's 22 years old and have nothing in common with you. It was
very much
time. Like, so what do you put on your nachos? Like it got to the point where, but I did eventually lose the like, because I was getting so good at being able to articulate how I was talking. And I realized it's because I wasn't comfortable the whole time. So I think if you just make me really uncomfortable, I'll be able to talk like a professional.
Perfect. Right on it.
I did this like 7-hour stream with LG, who does electronics, you know, like TVs and shit. And for the 7-hour stream, they told me like how professional I was. Like, you were so good at reading the teleprompter. You were so good at being like, buy the LG Ultra Gear gaming monitor, blah, 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 164 hertz, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, because I'm extremely uncomfortable right now and everyone's staring at me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just, whatever. I'm welcome to our podcast, which is called
Weirdly Obsessed.
Yay, the Weirdly Obsessed podcast. I cannot believe we're on episode 5.
I know.
Most podcasts don't make it this long.
We are pretty much professionals. This is very exciting. 5 does seem like it took forever, but it also happened so fast.
It was, some people know this, but we did have a previous name for this podcast called Two Girls What's Up, which is an awesome name.
Great name. Don't take it. We still want it.
You can take it. You just can't steal our ideas. Which was to do the obsessions thing, and we realized no one is going to know what our podcast was about, so we had to change the name. And now it's great, like Weirdly Obsessed.
I love it.
People love it, but I am so proud of that. And we had such good first 3 episodes. And
We're gonna put them on Patreon for you guys, though, so you'll eventually get to see them.
But we've done really well. Our first few episodes got like 200-ish downloads or something.
Thank you guys so much.
You guys are awesome.
It's so exciting. And we've had some Patreon people already.
We do. Shout out to our patrons.
Yay.
Is that what they're called? Patrons?
Yeah. I also think we need to come up for a name for our viewers. I know a lot of fun podcasts have like names.
Weirdos. Just kidding.
Oh, I do like weirdos.
Our fucking weirdos that watch us.
You're weirdos. Thank you, our weirdos. That's perfect.
No, I was just kidding.
But I like it.
Okay, we're the weirdos now.
No, they're the weirdos.
I call them. You know what would be a great name?
What?
Because we're WOP.
Yeah.
Call them Whoppers.
I like that better. Lisa is the one that comes up with all the names.
We'll be like, you guys are the Whoppers, the weirdly obsessed Potters. I don't know what the.
I love the Whoppers.
We're the Whoppers now. Oh, now we have a group of Whoppers. I mean, on my stream, I don't know if I told you this, but they're called the Weasels. Because because Weasel Allen, Lisa Wallen, whatever. Now they're called So if you want to watch my stream, you get Weasel points.
See, I love having the name like that.
And then you get a free Weasel eventually if you stay for a whole year.
Wow, you'll get a free Whopper. We'll send you some BK.
A free Whopper. Thank you. Shout out to Burger King for the sponsorship. But anyways, how have you been? How was your weekend?
Oh, I just got back from Boston. I was doing shows there. It was really fun. I'm pretty sure I got food poisoning from the salmon ceviche.
Your ceviche days are over.
No, there was salmon. We'll go back to the shrimp. But the shows in Boston were awesome. Boston audiences are so much fun. It was freezing. But besides that, I really enjoyed it.
I'm really attracted to like Boston accents.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I just love a good like East Coast accent because I'm from Seattle. There's nothing. We sound very NPR. I feel like I that's just what from my experience, I've just heard that from people. That's why every time you listen to like KXP, like, welcome back to the KXP stream. We just played that's
so good at that voice.
That's how everyone in Seattle talks. So anytime I hear someone who's like from Baltimore or from New York, from Philly, from Boston, I'm just like, oh, I just love the power in your voice.
I like it for a small amount of time, like visiting, but I wouldn't want to like date someone with a full-time Boston accent. But this was so funny. So the first show, the host is up, and I realized like there's like the room is shaking, and I'm like, there's no earthquakes here. What is this?
It's all those accents. Just
they really were shaking the audience up. Then I got up on stage, and we were right under a damn train station.
Oh,
like full room shaking. Like insanely. So eventually I had to say something because everyone was like, and this was a super nice venue. It's a city winery in Boston. It's very clean.
Did you not notice
nice.
You go underneath a train track?
Or I guess it was underneath us.
That's
we were
crazy.
Above it, but it felt like it was above us.
It was a subway probably.
I'm from Florida. We have water down there.
We have water and dead bodies. You know, it's fine.
Different. And then there was another funny thing during the first show as well. I've never had this happen. I've seen videos of comics online, like Chris DiStefano had a video on YouTube about this happening to him. I had a crazy laugher.
Oh, yeah, those are weird.
Like,
it throws you off. You're like, I'm not that funny.
It was like, I laughed at everything. Hyena laugh in like every gap throughout the whole featured set. And then when Matt went up to headline, his whole set laughing to where it's like your set now is around like what this guy is laughing at. Like he's now part of your act.
Oh yeah.
Because it's so distracting.
That happened to me like a week ago.
Really?
I did the microdose show and there was a guy at the bar laughing at literally everything I said. I could be like, hi, I'm Lisa. I'd be like, does he know me?
Yeah.
Am I being trolled? I have once had that, and in the middle of it, I was like, are you laughing at me or at something else? I've said that during my set, and they're like, you. I was like, huh. Anyways, back to this non-funny part of the story. That's so wild. Oh man, I hope eventually I'll be able to do shows outside of the West Coast. I've not done any East Coast stuff.
I'm telling you, we're gonna make an email list soon, and then you guys are gonna give us your emails, and we're gonna come see you together because I want to do that.
We'll have a live WAP show. People be like, there's no wet ass pussies on stage.
You're like, that's what you think.
It's a different WAP. Well, you're saying something about like dating somebody with an accent. My last relationship, my partner was from Baltimore, and he never had a really strong accent except for when he was drunk. Or when he would say, let's get teriyaki. It was the only time I ever heard it. He's like, I'm feeling teriyaki. I'm like, and then I would just make him say teriyaki all the time because I just loved it. I was like, this is so different. But also it gives them like a toughness because where I'm from, everyone just sounds like a pussy. Yeah. You know,
I get why you like the accent now. Yeah. After you've explained it, makes sense.
What's a Florida accent like? Just screaming.
Just a lot of words that you're not allowed to say anymore.
Oh my God, I love that.
But wait, I wanted to hear about your weekend. I want to hear about the award show.
Oh yeah, well, I think this will be released like a week after. But either way, I went to the Saturn Awards, which I didn't know what it was. And then I showed up and realized it's like a Hollywood Academy for the science fiction, fantasy, and horror.
Cool.
And they do their own award show. And it's like the Academy Awards, but inside a tiny little ballroom at the Marriott. And I would say out of the 300 people there, 50 of them were A-list celebrities. So I was just like,
that's cool.
I got to breathe near Nicolas Cage.
How did he smell?
He smelled like Nicolas Cage. I don't know. I feel like it's his own scent. And then Keanu Reeves was there, Christopher Nolan, Emily Blunt. It was insane. It was like every person I love in Hollywood because I'm a fucking nerd. Like this is the nerd. But I did get to meet James Cameron, which was really cool.
No way.
I was too freaked out to meet everyone because they have like their publicists there, and even though it's an intimate room, it's just if one person's standing around, then I feel awkward. Like Sir Patrick Stewart was like 2 feet from me. I'm like, I'm never gonna meet him ever, and I should have said something, but I didn't because I was just being respectful. But James Cameron was just standing there.
He was waiting for it.
He was just waiting for something. I walked up and I said, "Hey, I didn't know what to do. I was just like, congrats. And he goes, thanks. And he like fist bumped me. And I was like, huh. And he goes, I love your tattoos, your ink. What is that? I was like, hey, it's Zelda. That award looks very heavy. And he goes, you want to hold it? I was like, yeah.
No way.
I held his award. I was like, this is like 10 pounds. And he was like, yeah, they're my new weights. I'm like, he's way too happy talking to me. I freaked out internally. And my friend who was there also got to meet him. We're like, and he's like, oh, he tries to play it all cool. I was like, motherfucker, we just met James Cameron. Like, you're allowed to be like, so many people in LA are so jaded about celebrities. And it's like, let me fucking have this. Okay. I've never have been to an event like this. And fucking James Cameron's not just a normal guy.
No.
Like, he's pretty high up there.
Up.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then it rained, and so everyone was locked inside, and I was like, I'm gonna go. It was really great though. I feel like me living here is just I want to just go to every single red carpet event ever now.
We have to get some gowns.
Yeah, I never did the red carpet though. I avoided it. I was too scared. So I was like, this was my test. This is my test red carpet. Next time I'll do it. I'll get I'll get another Getty's image or whatever. Rent my gown on Rent the Runway.
Yeah, you'll get there.
I do that. But besides that, I have also, well, this kind of goes into our today, well, kind of goes into today's uncommon interest, so we'll get to it in a second. I decided to take another break from dating.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I have been, I've been basically single for 6 years, and I was very excited to move here and date because I was like, Seattle's just so,
LA is better.
Yeah, LA. The problem with LA is that no one asks you out on a date. Like Seattle, you would go on the date and it was boring. Or they was like, we get it. You drive a Tesla. You work for Amazon. Like everyone was a cookie cutter person. But here it's like people would just have these long conversations with me. And then I'd be like, do you want to go out sometime? And then there's just radio silence. And then when I do go out with them, it's like, they didn't really want to be in it. And I've gone on some great dates. I've made some great friends and some good connections. But then I've also had some very interesting things happen, which, we'll get to that at the end of today's episode because we have our uncommon interest today, which is a very interesting one to talk about.
I'm excited.
And kind of an interesting transition from what I just said. Would you like to present today's uncommon interest?
Yes, today's uncommon interest is fetishes.
Men fetishize not talking to women on dating apps. It's crazy. It's like the biggest fetish in LA. I don't know if you knew that.
So one of the most popular fetishes. That's
They're
it.
just jerking off to never asking the question. That's literally it. They're just edging me in the conversation.
Oh.
Who knows? It might be, actually. I'm not to kink shame, fetish shame, but
if you do get off on that,
I'm not into that.
It's an easy one.
Oh my goodness.
No, we've got a lot, and I've been liking comparing like everything we talk about versus the obsession. And this one,
We get to whip out our phone at the same time.
I know
We did our homework.
I just want to read this just to get this started, and then you can go into like the OCD stuff. So it says a fetish is either an object or body part, regardless of its presence, being real or fantasized, that is necessary to grant a person sexual gratification. In some cases, this could be classed even as a sexual obsession. However, that is typically in the most severe cases of a fetish. So fetish versus sexual obsession. A sexual obsession is just a severe case of the fetish.
I feel like fetishes is more severe than a sexual obsession.
I mean, the F makes it seem like it.
I think so. I mean, I don't know. When I think about things that I'm sexually attracted to, it's like, you take a video game character. Because God forbid I sexualize a real person. Like, it's like, I am sexually attracted to Snake from Metal Gear Solid, but do I fetishize him? No, because I respect him as a person. I feel like a fetish is like where you don't have the respect for whatever it is.
Because you're too horny for
Like,
it.
yeah, exactly. Like we discovered armpit fetishes were a real thing, but I feel like if you're just like sexually attracted to armpits, you're like, that's a nice armpit. But if you have a fetish, you're like, show me your armpit.
I'm about to put my dick in that armpit.
I feel like fetish, to me, the internet's probably right, but I feel like to me a fetish crosses the line of just being attracted to something.
I agree. That is what it seems like. So let's say that website is wrong.
Google.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
Also, it made me think with the armpit thing. I mean, we all know what motorboating is. But are people
How do you motorboat an armpit?
Are people motorboating armpits?
Can I smell armpit? So gross.
Oh God.
You know what though? There's also another one, which is fetishes versus kinks.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know that there was so much compelling definitions to just wanting to get off by something.
What did it say?
It said a fetish is similar to kink, but the difference is that something is a fetish must be present in order for the person to achieve, as the internet would say, which I think makes sense too, because, you know, take from, I guess, anyone's personal sexual experience. I have been with people who have kinks, but we never had to play into them in order to get to the point.
Oh, I get it now.
Versus like a fetish where people are like, no, I need this to happen. I need you to rip out that pit and we're going to get pitted. You know what I mean? So I feel like there is a difference, at least with those two. But after all this Googling, I didn't realize this whole world existed.
There is a lot to get into. And a lot of words I don't know how to pronounce. So
A lot of philias.
I was going to say that.
A lot of philias, which we'll get to in a second. But I also kind of realize this too with dating, which is why this is the interesting transition. Because, I mean, I don't know how much... I don't usually talk about this stuff ever, really.
Me
like, I don't
neither.
even on, like, jokes, people are like... I've had people tell me, oh, your comedy's so clean. I'm like, that's because my parents came to every show for like 10 years. I don't want my dad knowing if I've sucked a dick. Like,
oh, yeah. Also, I have never once had anyone tell me that your comedy is
I
clean.
definitely don't think anyone's telling. But I also don't think I'm clean. I think it's because I sprinkle in gaming stuff that they're like, she's so precious and innocent. I'm like, no,
remember.
I'm going to be a slut one day. You'll see. I'll get them.
And then I'm innocent and have dirty jokes.
Yeah, there you go. You're the opposite. I'm just disgusting.
No.
The whole like fetish and kink stuff thing is fascinating to me because, I mean, I don't know if you mind me asking, because how long have you been in a relationship?
3 years.
3 years. And then before that, were you always relationship or were you single or?
Lots of relationships.
Yeah. See, I was very relationship oriented until I was 28. And before that, no one had fetishes and kinks. It was like, you know, one of your bits that I love so much is when you say if a guy doesn't come during sex or if a girl doesn't come during sex, it's just sex.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what it was. Like growing up, you never explored your sexuality so much because you're just like, you were just trying to get to the thing. And then once you reach your 30s and older, then people are like, well, now that I'm more comfortable with who I am sexually, I'm not scared to show people what will also get me off.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that though, because I didn't date for like 3 years or anything. And then I come out of the pandemic. And so on top of people being in their 30s and coming out of the fucking cave of not fucking anyone for so long, everyone's just like, I can't get off unless she stares right at my nose. Like everybody is just so, everyone is just, they went from 0 to 100 real quick with me.
No one talks about how much the quarantine really fucked that up.
Really? Oh my gosh. Like I just have to tell some of these stories because one time I went on a date in Seattle with this guy, super fucking dorky dude, right? Which is fine. Obviously I have no problem with nerds, but this dude thought he was Christian Grey.
Like from the book?
Yeah, from 50 Shades of Grey.
Did he have a whole sex dungeon?
Well, so like you've probably seen this. It's like the guys that weren't very sexually active in high school, a lot of them became like rich crypto guys, techie bros, and then some of them got like this idea that they can, because they have money, that they can like be like a dominant person. And I matched with this guy because he seemed really nice. We bonded on like video games, right? And I was like, oh, this guy's just a big nerd. But when we went on a date, he goes, well, this is what I want you to wear, and this is where I want you to show up. And at first I thought it was cool. I was like, oh, that's really sweet. Like, we love when a man takes charge, right? But then it got really weird. He goes, do you have a choker? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, I want you to wear a black choker and a black dress. And I started laughing so hard because I'm like, buddy, that's not how fashion works. I'm sorry. My black dress is not going to go with a choker.
And not being good at fashion is one of the funniest things ever. Please write that into a joke. Please.
Like, I get it. Like, but you should know how to dress first before you tell me how to dress. Because I'm just going to look fucking weird, okay? Like, but I showed up in a black dress. We went out for dinner, and he would, like, tell me what to drink. Which is fine if you're ordering something sexy, but he would like order me drinks that I don't normally like. And I was like, well, I'm more like a whiskey person. He goes, not tonight. I'm like, no, I am. And then I realized it's like, it is, I don't know if it's considered a fetish or whatever, but I think it was kind of like a role playing thing for him where it's like, no, like, you're the submissive one, I'm a dominant one. I'm like, I'm 5 inches taller than you, so it's gonna be really hard to do this. But then I started like Googling shit because that's how my OCD brain works. I started Googling stuff about like Dom versus sub, BDSM, all this stuff, and I was like, oh, like this is like a community of people. I found out different apps where people go to find like
they're like other half.
And I think this guy was at the beginning stages of it, and I went on a second date with him because even though that was really fucking weird, I had to see where it went because that's how toxic I am. It's like, this is a bad idea. And the second time I showed up and I brought information with me. Like I asked him about these apps. I asked him about like, has he been part of these communities? Have he gone to the party? And I like blew his mind.
And did he or he was just how you
like,
found he was new to it?
I was just like trying something new. I was like, yeah, it didn't work. Sorry. But I learned something because I was like, oh my God, it opened up a whole new world of me. Like, and now whenever I like go on a date with someone or if we're hitting it off and stuff, like sometimes I'll just ask like if they have any weird fetishes or kinks just to see. And some people have some fucked up ones, which, you know what? We have a whole list of them.
We have a lot. But before we get into that, I wanted, when you were talking about like before you were dating, it made me like before the fetishes came out, it made me think of like, I feel like the progress from what I remember was it was like the first thing that people were like normalizing was choking.
Yeah.
That was
pulling hair, choking, light pain, stuff like hair, that. Now choking. I'm like, don't fucking touch my hair. It will fall out. I have anxiety.
So do I. I'm losing so much hair.
Just leave the hair alone.
Don't touch my hair. So that, and then anal. I don't know, but I feel like anal was like a classic.
I feel like that's not even a fetish.
I was gonna say, is that even considered?
I feel like are you looking at buttholes all the time just being like, I feel like that makes it a fetish. You just have a whole album of different buttholes. Maybe that makes it a fetish.
Well, I just feel like the two things, like if a guy thought he was being crazy would be like choking and anal. Like that?
Did you come yet? We're just making fun of bad sex now.
I know.
That's why I was like, this topic is so funny. But no, yeah, there's different stages. And now some people are in, I feel like the pandemic really opened up the book for people. Same thing with like TikTok and just being in a time of our generation where everyone's very accepting of things. Because even things like cuckolding and polyamory and shit like that is so big. Like, I know couples personally that love to watch their significant other get fucked by somebody.
Damn.
Like, it is a fucking fetish and they love it. And I guess if you've been married for a really long time or you have good communication, like, yeah, I can definitely understand that. But it has also changed how I view couples, because when a couple's like, Lisa, I love you. My girlfriend thinks you're the coolest. I would love for you to come over sometime. Like, oh my God, they're going to try to fuck me. Like, my brain is traumatized. And I told my friend that because I was like, oh my God, I really love hanging out with you. But when you kept trying to get me hang out with your girlfriend, I'm not going to lie, I kept thinking that you might want me to fuck her. And he was like, oh my God, no. No. I just think that you're like a genuinely great person and that you guys would get along great. But, you know, if she was into that, like, I support her.
You never know, but like wording it like that, I would have thought the same thing. When anytime a couple will come up to me after a show and they'd be a little off, I'm like, they want to fuck me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
we love your vibe.
Yeah.
My wife and I see you from the corner and we really dig your vibe.
It's just something in their eyes too. You can see it.
It is tough for dating too, because I think because so many people are more open sexually, and it's mainly our generation, because I have heard this, that Gen Z and younger is a sexless generation.
I just talked about this on my episode of my podcast from last week, because I just did a show for Gen Zs. Like, it wasn't planned. I did a show and everyone looked
and everyone there had
young.
blue hair.
Yeah, and I was like, how old are you guys? And they all were Gen Z. And I was like, do you guys let guys come inside of you? Because there was a joke I was working on. It sounds weird. And they were like, no. And we talked about, yeah, Gen Z is like the least sex-driven.
Sexless generation. I mean, get it. They can't, no one can afford a house or college or anything. The world's dying. We had to wear a mask. Like, yeah. I get it.
More introverted from being.
Millennials, like, time, we're just angry and horny all the time. We're just pissed off at the world because they're like, bitch, in high school they told me to get my life together and it's not, so I need to get fucked. Like, that's where everyone is now.
It's crazy. I would never think like it would go to like no sex, but I think social media, all of it.
Everything.
All of it.
Social media is the number one thing about this podcast.
Oh, yeah. We keep circling back.
But because I was like doing so much Googling about like, you know, BDSM and shit like that, like, you know, the algorithm's like, hey girl, you want to buy a nice choker, blah, blah, blah. Like, it opened up a can of worms for the internet for me. And then I ended up like befriending people in that community. So I have a lot of friends that are into stuff like that. I just don't go to their parties. Like, that's like, hey, I'm having a birthday. I'm like, is it in public? I have to be very careful. Be like,
smart.
Yeah. And also, I feel like in an age where there's like OnlyFans, a lot of people are more like willing to be more sexual, explore themselves sexually, and that they're being more acceptive of like people who sell I don't like saying sell your body because that's a weird way of saying
get paid for their body.
Yeah. And it's like, I know I won't do that because my tattoos are way too recognizable. Like, no, I can never like just send a nude without my head. Everyone's like, that's Lisa. No one else.
You can only show your toes.
Yeah. Even then, someone probably has my toes on a very specific WikiFeet website, because every time I post them, I get some weird fucking comments. But
what is that? My friend was on it and I forgot the name of it. What is the fetish app? Like, speaking of it being normalized now there's the dating app for people with fetishes.
Was on it and I went on a date on it.
Oh, please tell.
Field.
Oh, yes.
I told you about it.
Yeah, this was the guy. What was his name? It had the best name ever.
Daddy Avocado.
Yes, Daddy Avocado. How did I forget about this?
Never forget about him because his name did not match his persona online. Yeah, Field was an interesting experience. I used it because I'm just gonna be real with you guys. I just moved to LA. Like, I don't want to find a fucking life partner. I don't want to find a boyfriend. I was like, I just want someone to have fun with.
Yeah.
And I think there is a weird thing in dating apps where you can't you can't really say that on a dating app. Dating apps is very much like, let's figure things out. I was like, no, this is specifically what I want. And Field is very like that. It's very direct. Like, I'm just looking for friends with benefits. I'm just looking for a friendship. I'm just looking for a one night stand. And it is cool in that sense, but you do find a lot of weird shit. Just a lot of weird guys putting like, I need someone to like blow on my nipples tonight. Like, it's just, oh, okay. But this guy, Daddy Avocado, because you have a fake name. My fake name was Weasel. Daddy Avocado messaged me and he seemed really dope. Like, his whole profile was like, if we meet and there's magic, then we'll have a good time. And I was like, oh, that's pretty basic. We met up in person. This guy could not even look at me in the eyes. He was I was like, it's the same shit of fucking Christian Grey being like, wear a choker and a black dress. Like, that doesn't go well together. And I remember I sent him a picture of the dress and the choker. I was like, these don't go well together. I know what you want, but this isn't it. I don't have money. But yeah, it just ended up being like not what I wanted. And so I was just like, I'm just going to get rid of it. But it's a whole app of people just shamelessly being like, I need you to piss on my face.
I'd be good at that.
It says it. Really, Mandy would be the best.
I would be really good at that.
She had one final pee every 5 minutes. And like people just being like, people will straight up being like, I'm really into shit. I'm really into like something philias. I Googled philia. I'd be like, what the hell is this?
How does the app work? Is it categorized by fetish?
It does.
Wow.
And then like, you know, in normal apps, you have like the interest part where it's like, I like plants and cats. You'd be like, I want my dick stepped on. I want my nipples broken. I want you to punch me in the fucking throat. And it's like, oh,
wow,
Jesus
so
Christ.
aggressive.
Mine literally said, I have 2 cats and plants. I'm just looking to have a good time. And everyone here wants to murder me. So, but it is one of those things where it's like, even though people have fake names, they have all their faces on there. It's like, that's why I was very like, I'm not going to open up with you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, especially working in the entertainment. It's like, I found people on there that I'm like, hey, buddy, if I ever see you in a movie, I know you want to get shit on. So, but we should talk about some of the stuff we found.
We found a lot of good things.
I mean, there's some common ones. So we talked about, obviously, like the armpit thing, feet. I'm like, whatever. But there's also things that I've seen because I'm in like a nerdier community. Nerd communities have a lot of big ones, and you mentioned furries.
Oh yeah,
furries is. I love furries. I am kind of a furry myself.
Yeah, you said someone drew you a furry.
They
you
did,
as a furry.
and it was so cute. And then I learned about this. Before we even get to the fetishizing part of furries, I've worked with furries. I have friends that are furries. I found out I'm kind of one because I watched this anime called Beastars, and all the characters are hot and they're animals. And I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
But every artist tells me that anytime they get a commission from a furry, they are the best people to work with.
That's nice.
They're the biggest tippers. They're the most communicative. And I found out it's because a lot of them are fucking rich. I did not know this. A lot of them have money because those fucking fursuits are like $10,000.
I'm sure I read online and that it said like only like 20% of people actually own their furry. What is the name for the full
fursuits?
The fursuits.
With I'm like, there's so many good puns. Fursona, fursuit, the fursuit of happiness. I don't. But like
the pursuit of happiness.
Don't know if anyone's used that, but it's great. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's the difference between me wearing a choker because I think it's cute versus me wearing a choker because I want to get fucked while wearing it. It's the same with people who are furries. It's like some people just love having that fursona, like being like, I just love dressing up like a mascot or a wolf and like having a community of other people do that versus people who are like, I want to be fucked in my wolf costume. But there is a weird line that you draw besides like some, like again, like an interest, an obsession or whatever versus like, okay, when does this get weird, you know?
Yeah, that's another thing it was saying. It's like there's a lot of what's the word I want to use?
Construed.
Misconceptions.
Misconceptions. Yeah.
For furries. That like they're like, we're not all introverted, like on all the things like the show.
We're all fucking weird, but we're not introverted. Yeah.
And they're like, we all don't want to fuck in these. But yeah, there is a lot of the people who do want to fuck in them.
I'm sure they're sweaty. I'm sure they're expensive. Like if I had a $10,000 fursuit, I'd be like, you can't fuck me in this.
Yeah, like let me take this off.
Are you gonna clean it too, motherfucker? You want me to bark for you? No.
I really feel like furries is one of the most like known fetishes.
Yeah, and there's other things too. Like one of the things I want to bring up was hentai, which isn't really a fetish. It's more like a sexual interest, you know? Because when you start looking at terms of fetishes, you start being like, oh no, these are just porn categories. These are just kinks. Like this is a bit like, but as far as fetishes goes, like hentai, I have tons of friends that are hentai artists. You know what hentai is?
I don't know.
That's good. You're innocent child over here. I mean, hentai is literally just sexual cartoons. Hentai is just a Japanese word for it. And like some of the hentai out there, like the actual hentai is very well produced and have good stories. They're just fucking in it, you know? And I've talked about it before. Like I had a whole show, an anime show where it's like, was it a hentai versus an anime? And I would tell them the story of the series and they'd be like, you know, this girl becomes an assassin and blah, blah, blah. Like it's anime. Actually, it's a hentai. Like and so it's like there's a whole world of me being like, there is a fascinating thing about sexualized cartoons because it's like, oh, you're breaking the norms of like cartoons being for children. But then there's the people who are like, no, I want the cartoon character to be resembling a child because it's a cartoon. I can get away with that. And then that's when you're like, buddy, you need to go to therapy. Yeah. And same thing with people just fetishizing like Japanese culture to begin with, you know, like they'll find like one, like we talked about K-pop, same thing. It's like anytime it's a culture that's not theirs, they're like, oh, they get really obsessed with it. And it's like, no, this is becoming like a weird sexual thing. Like you're getting to the point where it's like, there's basically a walking meme of like white American dudes going to Japan to find their Asian wife. We've heard this before. A million times. People going to Vietnam because, it's what they want. They want a submissive Asian woman to be their wives. And that's where you're like, I just want to go to Japan. Like, I just want to look at this pretty cartoon. But yeah, and so that's where the common interests, fetishes start to become like weird and problematic. But I do want to go through our list of weird ones that we did find.
I can't wait to talk about these. They are crazy. A lot of you go first.
Some of these names are absolutely insane, though.
That's what I was saying. I'm gonna have a really hard time saying some of these.
I don't even know if I can say some of these. Some of these aren't even that bad. Like this one's called Kato. Fucking, I'm not saying it. It's basically a fetish for mirrors. Like people, but that's not even a fetish. I feel like most people want to, like, if you want to look at yourself in the mirror getting fucked, I feel like that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
I feel like some of these websites don't even know what a fetish is.
Okay, I got some.
Nice.
Try this one.
Nice.
Dendrophilia.
It's fucking trees.
Yeah. How do you know this?
From the Evil Dead movie.
Oh. Yeah, it says a sexual attraction to trees takes tree hugging to a whole new level. One of my favorite movies is Superstar with Molly Shannon, and she makes out with the tree.
That's just Molly Shannon being Molly Shannon.
But if that movie had a part 2, she's fucking that tree.
Oh, this one, some of these, and some of these are very problematic. Like acrotomophilia is arousal to amputees.
Oh my God.
Which is like, look, if I fuck someone that's missing a body part, whatever, I'll work with it. But fetishizing specifically people who have those body parts, that has to come from some weird form of trauma. Yeah. Or something. I don't know.
I mean, I think as an amputee...
It's like, great.
That's
cool.
Great.
If you're into that. Like, I've seen another thing like hentai, like some people will draw characters specifically with missing body parts sexualized.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, that's them putting it on paper. And it's just, and I just kind of, I don't judge what people want to do with their art or whatever, but it is come to the thing where it's like, that's kind of odd.
Yeah, that is odd. Odd is a perfect
But
way
if you're a hot dude that's missing a finger, like, just let me know. We'll work with it.
Leg, don't talk to me, but a finger. Okay, this one is mucophilia.
Ugh, I don't like the name.
Guess what it is by the name. Mucophilia.
No.
I'm guessing from mucus. It's sexually aroused by sneezing.
What? I mean, they did say, I remember we were kids when they said like sneezing was like 1/16 of an orgasm.
Yeah, is that real?
I don't know, but when I sneeze, my roommate laughs every time because I sneeze like a child. So
I sneeze like my dad.
This one's really funny. There's actually, some of these have to be made up. Like climacophilia. arousal to falling down the stairs.
Oh my God. No way.
What?
That can't be real.
The funniest thing is the stock photo they use for it, which is
There's a guy on the ground in his work outfit
with his legs spread. Like, okay, maybe this is kind of a fetish.
This one is weird and really creepy, and I want to read more about it. Okay. I don't understand. Okay, this one got really strange. This one is sex with birds. Your reaction is so funny.
So instead of furries, they're birdies?
Birdies, but like real birds.
Why?
Just, okay, let me read this real fucked up shit. Everyone
like,
buckle in because this is dark.
This is like bestiality shit, basically.
Yeah. So it's just one branch of the larger realm of zoophilia, more commonly known as bestiality.
You know about Mr. Hands?
No.
Okay, keep talking. I have a story for you.
Okay. Oh, no. Birds do have a particular... This is in quotes.
Oh, I know.
Birds do... What do you think his voice would be like? Birds do have a particular texture to them with feathers, DeVore said. Birds...
Imagine having to write this article. Like, you got paid to write this article.
There are online forums dedicated to swapping sexual aku stories.
A coo?
I'm guessing that's
Is that what they say when they come?
A coo.
I cooed.
Oh my God, I just cooed. Given their abundance and ability to fly away, chickens are the most popular pick. Of course, there are certain drawbacks.
Yeah, they're fucking chickens. That is the fucking drawback.
All right, back to the quotes. The thing about fucking a chicken is that it kills the chicken, Picker said.
Does he cook it after? What?
That's what I was thinking. There, I mean, at least talking about. You can't have sex with a chicken without sacrificing the chicken.
But I feel like this is some weird religious thing too. There's got to be some cultural shit in there. I remember one time my dad had me watch Woodstock because whatever, my parents didn't know what they were doing, but I watched Woodstock and my dad's seen it a bunch of times, and I was like 12 years old, and I said, "Can you pause it for a second?" What? Because it has like little montages, the band's playing in the audience. I said, "Go back a little." I was like, "Is that guy fucking a sheep?" And he's like, "Oh my God."
No way.
In the fucking Woodstock, the guy's just straight up fucking a sheep. And I'm like,
what? Where did he get the sheep?
How is it? I mean, it's fucking Woodstock. It's like just everyone's on drugs, but he's straight. This like it's burned in my brain like a 1 second second of a guy just fucking a sheep.
That if I was a child, I mean, if I saw that now, I would never be able to erase that. Bestiality has to be illegal, right?
So that's a great reason you asked that, because I asked you about Mr. Hands.
Yeah.
Mr. Hands is one of those tales from the internet things that this is what I mean. The most innocent millennials sitting in front of us, because I unfortunately had to be traumatized and scarred for life from this. Mr. Hand, if you Google, and you know what? I'm just have you Google Enumclaw, Washington.
Right now?
Yeah, just Google Enumclaw. What is the first thing that pops up when you Google Enumclaw, Washington? ENUM Claw, Washington. What is the Wikipedia thing that pops up?
Enumclaw horse sex case. The Enumclaw horse sex case was a series of incidents in 2005 involving Kenneth D. and his D.
Kenneth D. and his D. So,
oh God.
For those who watch my streams, you know who Mr. Hands is, because it's unfortunate that this has been brought up multiple times. But basically, a man who worked at Boeing would film himself having sex with horses and put it on the internet, and one of them went viral when we were unfortunately just young impressionable teenagers, where he dies. And because of that video, because it got so viral and popular, they had to set bestiality laws, which apparently there weren't any, at least in Washington before that, which is mind-blowing. But
it surprises me.
And now it's sad because I lived right next to Enumclaw. The city's right next to where my parents are. And so anytime I do comedy there, they have a lot of, you know how hard it is to just not bring up Mr. Hands every time. It's very sad knowing that this cute little town is known for horse fucking. So
one guy ruined a whole town.
One guy ruined the whole. I mean, that was just the curse of the internet. You just had, you know, we the internet became a thing, and we're like, let's go look, because we're fucking teenagers. Like, let's go look at fucked up things. So we watched Mr. Hands, Two Girls, One Cup. We watched Lemon Party, Meat Spin, Pain Chronicles,
Russian roulette,
Russian roulette, chat roulette, chatterbait. You know, like we had it. It makes sense now why all the millennials are just angry and horny, because they just spent all their internet childhood just being traumatized and scarred for life, and now none of us are married or have kids, and we had to go through a pandemic. So it's like, which time to get fucked, and I want to get fucked in the worst way possible. So you know what? No fetish shaming on my part. That's all I gotta say.
It makes sense, and it makes sense of why Gen Zs aren't having sex, because they're looking at people dancing on TikTok while we're watching someone getting killed fucking a horse. It's a little different.
Yeah, they're learning how to do makeup tutorials. We're putting on blue eyeliner while thinking about a girl shitting and eating each other's poop in the back of my head. You know,
they're flossing.
Fucking Gen Z, man. You
As
guys,
a guy's random dick comes up on roulette.
It's so. I remember, like, I didn't talk about this, but Newgrounds.com was famous for having such fucked up like mini flash games, and there was one called the emo game, I was like, and I loved emo music, so I was like, oh, it's starring all my favorite singers from Saves the Day, Sunny Day Real Estate, Dashboard Confessional, and it was a flash game of them like fucking each other. And it was, and I was like, did they consent to this? And then there's also like the Mile High Club, where your whole goal was like to try to get a girl to have sex with you, and it's like, these are flash games I played when I was 13.
Damn.
Like, what? And now look at us. I'm like on field talking to Daddy Avocado.
I want to make a Daddy Avocado shirt.
Yeah, guys, we don't kink and fetish shame, but there's some fucked up ones out there, and you got to read them with us.
Oh yeah, that was the one I really wanted to read.
Yeah,
that was super creepy. Like, I just don't get that one. The oculolinctus is known as worming, is the practice of eye licking.
When you say worming, I think of someone like eating a Listen, I watched a lot of hentai. I think of tentacles. You said octo. It's just not licking an eye.
Why? Is it? Oh, Oculus.
Ew. I don't want anything licking my eye ever.
But it says there's a thing around licking the eye. Quotes. Sucking the eye, he said. Where these things.
What's wrong with people?
Where these things come from is hard to theoretically have a strong stance on.
Sucking the eye, sucking the nose. Why do you want other foreign chemical like liquids in your mouth? Come, it's fine. Spit, fine. Pee, whatever. But eye mucus? What is wrong with
your
people?
doctor's like, so how did you get these scrapes on your eye again?
Do you want to know how I got these scars on my face? Just kidding. I got this mucus in my eye. That is so crazy to me. I don't know. I'm very, blessed to not come across some weird shit. I do think some people have kept their weird. I could tell when I asked like people I hook up with, like, what's your fetish? You can just tell, like, sometimes like, I shouldn't say this.
They're holding back.
They're holding back a lot of the time because I'm like, I don't actually want to know. I just want to know what's going to end tonight. That's what.
Yeah. How will that go? God. But like, how many dates do you think, like, someone had the eye licking fetish? How many dates in do you think they wait?
I mean, if you're meeting on field, apparently you're just putting it all out there. As far as like actually dating somebody, I feel like if you have like a purely sexual relationship, you're probably gonna hop into it pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. But I feel like as I talked about, like, couples who like try new things now, most of those I know were together for like 10 years, 5 years before they started going into that. And I think it gets to that point where it's like your sex life becomes so boring and comfortable, which, it's not a bad thing. It just makes sense if you're fucking the same person all the time. Yeah. It's like playing the same video game or watching the same movie. So you have to spice it up. I think that's a time where people are like, well, let's get into some weird shit. And you already know your partner. You've seen them do everything. Though I'm too comfortable. Like, I hooked up with someone and just shit naked in front of them.
Really?
With the door open.
Oh my God, that's badass.
I did that like not even that long ago. I was like, I gotta use the bathroom. I just had the door open, and he was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Are you pooping?" I was like, "Yeah."
Oh my
You don't have
God.
to watch. I just don't, whatever. Fucking, we're all human. That's the best thing about, I think that's another reason like everyone gets so comfortable in their 30s, that you're not in your 20s. Like, you know that you don't have like the best body you've ever had. You're fucking aging. You got cellulite and fucking whatever. And no one gives a shit anymore. They just don't. And they shouldn't. If they do, fuck them. So I think you just naturally become more comfortable with people. At least I am. And if you're like me and you just tattoo every part of your body, and so you're like, that I have a spider vein there, not anymore. Now it's a fucking
God, that's
character.
a great way to cover up a spider vein.
That's why I've covered up so many weird random bruises and shit on my back. Like my back I hated, so I tattooed the whole thing, and now I'm like, I don't care about it. Now it makes sense. There you go. And
Very smart.
Then you meet the tattoo fetish people like, I like that.
Oh no, creeps.
I did want to, before we, I guess, end this, I did want to go into our Reddit part, because I did find a thread of people talking about their weird Reddit fetishes, their weird fetishes that they're not, I guess, ashamed of and they want to talk about, and they didn't know that they had until recently. And this one I thought was really interesting, is that this person has a dollification fetish, which means that she likes to dress up and make herself look like a living doll, which I think is like, in Japan, they have like Lolita fashion is what it's called. Yeah. And to be treated and played like with a doll while also being sexually objectified. I have doll-like ball joints tattooed on my joints. I never know what to say when people ask about them. That's crazy to me. But also when I think you want to be played like a doll, I'm like, am I cutting your hair?
Yeah, I'm thinking... Which owner do you like?
Did I just weird Barbie you? What do you mean being played by a doll? Did I just put your whole head in my mouth? Is that what I do?
I would love to have someone like
I'd
that
chew off
as
your
a guest.
I'd chew off your
I put you under my bed and forget about you forever.
Oh, that's so funny. Another one's like, someone's like, they're really sexually attracted to satin.
Satin?
Yeah. The minute that they got satin sheets, satin pillowcases, they started masturbating more in bed. And there's nothing sexier than seeing someone in satin, like satin pajamas. They want to be fucked in satin. And wearing satin is a total dream. Literally anything. I love watching satin be ripped off. I want to be abused, ripped, fucked, spat on, cummed, squirted on while wearing satin. Which, this is so funny to me because I just bought satin pillow covers. And I bought a satin eye mask because they're better for you. Satin's better for your hair. I don't want to be like, what if I got fucked by the satin?
It didn't turn you on.
What if I just met a satin man, But anyways, some of these are fucking wild, but that is pretty fascinating that people just develop fetishes from weird shit. Like, now I'm going to go try to fuck my fetish pillowcase.
Well, it's funny thinking like, you just bought this pillowcase. Like, how does it start? Like, you buy the pillowcase, you think you're going to just go to sleep and your hair's going to look good. You lay down and you go, fuck, I'm so horny from this pillowcase.
I just love the one person like, a good night's rest. I just want to sleep 8 hours. I will get off by that. Oh, so funny. Wow, what a great episode.
Yeah. Well, you have a lot more fetishes another day to talk about.
As like a lesson learned, a life lesson at the end of this is, if you want to share your fetishes or kinks or sexual obsession with someone, just make sure you communicate it properly.
Yes.
And make sure consent is always there. That's all I've learned from weird dating experiences of people showing me their weird shit. It's just like, I didn't need to know about any of this. But anyways, great episode. If you guys got any weird fetishes you want to check, I'm just kidding. Apparently me saying like a lot is probably a weird fetish to someone.
Maybe.
They're just counting it down right now.
Probably it is. Probably it is.
But no, I hope everyone is enjoying Weirdly Obsessed podcast so far. If you like, please share, rate. It really helps us. It doesn't cost you any money to do anything, but please just spread the word.
But if you have the money, subscribe to our Patreon, and thank you so much to the listeners that have already subscribed. That gives us so much motivation, and it's just very nice. Thank you so much. We need it.
Yeah, and thank you again, and see you next week.
Bye. Hope you're not too horny.